Young Jock, a lot of people remember him as a rapper back in the day. He had some singles. Yeah, he did pretty well with his career, but afterwards, more recently, more younger folks may know him from the TV show Love and Hip Hop, I believe it is. I don't watch any of that stuff. But him and his wife have been on the show and recently did an interview. And this has been going viral with his wife because I cut off some of it because it was too long. So basically what's going on here in this clip is his wife is basically telling Young Jock that she doesn't want his kids to grow up to be like him, like his sons. Doesn't want them to grow up to be like him. And then he kind of corrects her on that, saying, what's so bad about me? I'm and we're going to listen to it here. And
I smashed you for keeps.
And he's saying that. He's like, well, what does that say? I'm your husband. Like, what are you making me be out this bad guy on this national platform here? And here we go right here.
Don't try to normalize.
I'm not.
What you have done.
I absolutely am not. What I'm
like,
saying.
your life is not normal. It's not no model that I want Amir to follow, Amani to follow, Cadence to follow.
Okay.
Not. Okay. And I don't think their mothers would either. So let's be honest.
So what are you saying? What is that saying about me? I'm your husband.
Well,
you basically saying you wouldn't want my sons to be like me. I would not
want them to have as many children.
Okay.
And I would not want them to have all of these different situations. That's not something I would want for them.
I don't necessarily want that for them either.
Okay.
But don't sum me up just in the fact because I got kids. Because let me tell you something.
It's not just because you have children.
I'm gonna say it like this.
It's not just because you have children.
I'm gonna say it.
That's not what I was saying.
Put it on the table. Come down.
That's not what I was saying.
Because I take offense to that.
It's not. Well, I'm sure you would.
But
if you listen to it from a logical standpoint, it's not the fact that you have children.
It's you say that
the children are not the issue.
That. Don't just make it seem like I'm a bad person. Don't make some
I'm
fucked up individual. What you're not gonna do is do that.
I didn't say that.
Well, that's how you put it. You said you wouldn't want my son to be like me.
I wouldn't want them to do some of the things that you have done.
And I wouldn't want my daughters to do some of the things you've done. We're human. That's what I'm trying to say.
You would want them to do majority of the things that I've done.
Listen, what I'm saying is, when you talk about me, don't sum me up. Facts, right? Don't sum me up on the worst side of me or what you consider the worst side of me. Because ain't nobody fucking perfect. So don't do that. That's what we're not going to do. Because as a man, guess what? I got to stand on mine too. Because guess what? Let me tell you something. I didn't go to college. Guess what?
Fine.
I want my kids to go to college. So we can say that right now. I don't want them to go that direction. I want them to go to college. I can say that with you too.
Right.
But don't sit here in front of the world, in front of a medium, and say, oh, I wouldn't want my son or your sons to be like you. Hold on. No, you're going to put some respect on my name. Because at the end of the day, I'm successful. I take care of my kids.
Okay.
Ain't none of my kids out here in dire need of love and support. So we ain't going to do that. Okay? Because I don't appreciate that. Because there's some things about you that I could say I wouldn't want my daughters to do.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to do that. I respect you and I love you enough.
I want this magazine to know what it is about me. You don't want your daughters
I'm not going to do that.
Like.
I'm not going to do that.
Be my guest.
I'm not going to
be slighted, honey.
I'm not going to do that. That's where we have to draw the line.
Okay.
Because I don't care because the camera in front of me.
So you got that interchange there, and like I said, of course, it's been a clip that has been going around and getting viral. There, what do you say to that?
There's a lot of things going on in that clip.
Mm-hmm.
I think she really, like, the way she said it is what triggered him.
Right.
You know, she made it sound like almost like too broad and not all encompassing. It's just more like, hey, I would want the kids to go to college and in reality probably not have to go through a lot of stuff that he probably did go through. Mm-hmm. And he kind of almost concedes that when he's talking. Like, yeah, I would want the kids to go to college. I'd want to, maybe have a smoother path in life than me. And, not have as, many drama with women and all that. So they're not really disagreeing about the substance of what's being said. But their tone, particularly her tone to him, to me is just kind of disrespectful, and she's not backing off of it.
Right.
She's doubling down on it. She's not saying, hey, I probably missaid that. What I was referring to was
XYZ.
Yeah. I mean, having so many women in your life with different kids and, whatever, and you were somebody that didn't go to college. I want the kids to go to college. And that's just, again, you're doing this in a reality show, so what's the point here? We're trying to entertain, I guess, but you come off as just an annoying bitch. Like, for real. Like, I mean, what guy is going to respond well to her tone?
To that tone, none.
None. Like,
it's an automatic trigger.
Yeah, be real. Like, you have to like acknowledge what the guy's accomplished in life.
What's so bad about having like I see people talk bad about Nick Cannon. About like a lot of the kids he's having, like if you are,
he just seems to be on a weird mission, man.
But yeah, and Jock is nowhere near the amount of that Nick Cannon is at. But my point is this, right? And this is not about Nick Cannon, but just a general statement of, if you are financially able and emotionally there, physically for your kids. Why are we bringing this up in a negative connotation? You know what I mean? I'm taking care of my kids financially, and also I'm there emotionally and physically there every day.
I did not see that's like, I don't think she was talking about that. I think she was in like when she was pressed. No, I think it was something else. I'll bring that up. I think she was talking about like the fact that he's probably done a lot of like funky stuff that you might expect a hip hop star to do.
Cheating and stuff like that. Yeah, right. She's also talking about that.
That I think is what she's really talking about.
Yeah.
And,
you're right.
And the problem that you probably have is none of these kids are hers.
Yeah.
She's in this situation where she's got to deal, even if he's like whatever providing. That's not even the real issue here as I read it. She's got to deal with these other baby mamas on some level. Mm-hmm. Even if they're not face to face, she's got to deal with when the kids are now in her house, but they're behaving some kind of way because their mother, whatever, allows it, tolerates it, what have you.
Right.
She's probably, a lot of her in this conversation is that.
Yeah.
And she looks at it like, you've got these 3 or 4 kids, however, I thought it was 3, all different moms, and in some level, your life is sloppy because of that. Mm-hmm. And that's difficult. That's I could identify that's a thing that she's talking about. But then she's also talking about the go to college thing and whatever. I think it's more the drama and the history with the other mamas that she's really talking to.
She is.
Than the kids themselves.
She is. Yeah, you're right about that. Because he has, they've been on the show and talked about him cheating and stuff like that. So that's another dig that she's bringing up, just in a different way. Yeah. No, you're definitely right.
But you got to realize, like, women will do that.
Yeah,
that's one of their go-tos.
Yeah.
They're not going to go straight at the problem.
Yeah.
They're going to go at something like you're being a father, which, again, in his mind, if he's
and that's a trigger because he's there,
allocating time and allocating resources and doing what he can do, that he's not going to respond well to that.
No.
But that if you don't read between the lines in that conversation, you don't get that.
Right.
And so that's the thing. That's why I think that whole conversation was like disrespectful. Her tone was a little was out of pocket for me. And even when he tried to make points, you could hear she's just trying to like chirp over him. If they're really having a conversation, and maybe whatever for the cameras, but it's like, hey, I didn't mean it that way. What I was talking about was, what we need, what we're dealing with these 3, baby mamas and their nonsense. And, as well as I do that we want the kids to go to the freaking Ivy League instead of, rolling the dice in the hip hop career. whatever. That's what you would say. And he'd probably say, yeah, you're right about that. I got it.
Exactly. Exactly.
But that's not the way people communicate.
No,
that makes too much sense. It does.